Salut à tous, c'est Stéphane Ross. Je suis un jeune modéliste ferroviaire français venant du sud de la France, dans les environs de Marseille. Aujourd'hui, je vous invite à visionner ce tout nouvel épisode du Sanmore Subdivision, des chemins de fer du Canadian National.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this brand new episode of the Canadian National Railway's Sanmore Subdivision in O-Scale 2 Rail. My name is Serge Lebel, and this is April 24th, 2024. This episode is episode number 13, believe it or not. Lucky number 13. Exactly, I say exactly, almost a year after the last episode, day to day. So I know it's been a while again. I got a good excuse this time, as I always do. No, seriously, I've been sort of in and out of the layout room for the past year because I did get a contract for a custom layout build for a customer. Can't really disclose any of it right now, except that it's in HO scale. It's a 8 foot by 16 foot switching layout. I'll have more details on a future episode. I need to let the customer come out with the project publicly first. But after the customer does, I'll be able to talk about it on my channel. So you can look forward to an HO scale episode eventually. That lasted from May till October. I spent 6 months actually on that project. So right now I'm just getting back to my modeling. I started in I took a little vacation, a little time off there in October when I finished with that project because I was sort of burnt out. So I took a couple of days off and then came back to the layout. And I've been working almost nonstop on the layout for the past 6 months. So I have a little bit of new footage to show you. I'm trying to make these shorter videos, so I'll just go right to it. First of all, I want to say thank you to my good friend Stéphane Ross for doing today's introduction. Stéphane is a good friend of mine. He's from France. You probably noticed by the introduction. I find that charming. I said, just do it naturally, and that's excellent. So Stéphane is a good friend of mine. He's in Sept-Îles. He's been in Sept-Îles for a few years. He studied to be a train conductor. He's not working currently as a train conductor, but he's also a model railroader. So and a nice guy to have around, operate on the layout. So thank you again, Stéphane. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So I'll show you projects that I've worked on in the past 6 months. Okay, so where do I begin? Well, how about beginning right here in Teganesh? In Teganesh, as you know, this is the sawmill portion of the layout, and I've started working on the buildings. The sawmill will be 4 quite large buildings. You can see building number 2 and 3 right here. Building number 2 is the planing mill, and building number 3, which is here, is the warehouse where the loading dock is. And building number 4, not built yet, will be the kiln dry, which will be sort of loosely based on the one in the photo right there, so that, you know, there's some sort of continuity. And so that'll occupy this space right here. Now, building number 1, at least that one is finished. It's the sawmill, the actual sawmill. And the sawmill was built in my usual method. I'm using masonite laser cut, and I'm covering that masonite with either styrene, like I did for the sides here. For the roof, I went with a different method this time. For the roof, I used foil paper. It's not exactly the same foil paper that you use for the barbecue. It's foil paper. It's tin foil that you can order to do some embossing projects. I found that on Amazon. And I used a roller, which is I think those used to be rollers for toothpaste tubes. They sell them now to make corrugated siding, but I'm pretty sure those are toothpaste tube rollers. So yeah, I used these rollers, and I rolled my foil, and it's, you know, it's quite sturdy. It's not, like I said, it's not tin foil like you use for the barbecue, so it keeps its form. It keeps its shape right there. You can paint it, weather it, and it looks all right. I also use a little bit of wood for the sawdust bin right here, because as you know, you have a sawmill, there's going to be a lot of sawdust, so that sawdust will be extracted from all the machines, and it goes into the bin, and that bin is emptied once in a while, and it's emptied by the loader, and it's put into a dump truck, and it's probably trucked somewhere else. This is also a chipping mill, since this mill produces the wood chips for the paper plant. So I'm working on the conveyor. It's not not nearly finished yet, but you get the idea. This will be a belt conveyor that'll take the chips from the chipper, which is inside this building right here, and some of the chips will be directed to the loading bin. And if it's hardwood chips, the hardwood chips will be transformed into OSB, oriented strand board, 4x8 sheets, which will be then glued and prepared, and then transferred into boxcars for shipping. So in a nutshell, this is the process that's going on here. Sorry if the phone is very shaky here. I'm trying to go fast because I don't want this to be too long. I'll try to edit some photos like I always do, some photos of the building process without taking too much time there, but I'll try to edit some photos in there. All right, now since I worked on the mill, I decided that why not try to finish that scene and move ahead with the scenery from here, from Taganish, on my way to the Herbert Jones Tunnel in Wanaga Ridge. That was the initial plan. This is the part that I was supposed to do the scenery on. So I just put a base coat of paint on there. And while I was doing that, I decided to paint all the way up to the bridge, the Kermit Bridge, which is, as you know, past on the other side of the tunnel there. And finally, I changed my mind, and I got inspired to do the scenery on the other side. So I'll take you to the other side, and I'll explain why I changed my mind about doing the scenery there first. Okay, so I'm on the other side of the tunnel. I'm actually in JP, where there's a siding and there's a spur. And this here is the reason why I changed my mind. As some of you know, Don Smith, he's a very good, very dear friend of mine. And Don introduced me to Ben Brown back in, well, I'd say 2012, 2011, 2012. And Ben was my mentor for many years until he passed away. When Ben passed away, just a few weeks before he passed away, Ben reached out to me and said, I want to pay tribute to my friend Don on my layout. He says, I want to have a logging truck on my layout that says Smith Logging. He said, could you make the decals for me? So I made the decals. And Ben sent me a photo a few weeks later of the truck that he had made, and he said, well, keep this a secret, and I'll finish the scene, and I'll surprise Dawn with this tribute. Well, Ben passed away a few days later, and the tribute never happened. And that really, I found that to be really sad. And Dawn being a good friend of mine, Ben being a good friend of mine, I thought, well, I'm going to take the torch and run with it. So I decided to complete Ben's tribute to Dawn, and this is in an upcoming article in the O-Scale resource. Now, this on my layout is Smith Logging. It's in JP. This here is the siding in JP. And I decided that this would be the first official scene to be completed on my layout. So this scene is what I consider 99% finished. There's probably things that I can add, because as you know, it's never finished. But in my mind, this is finished. So this is Smith Logging. There's a little office trailer right there, all scratch built, of course. Again, I'll try to post some photos of the construction of the office trailer. And that's the area. I'll try to back up here far enough. I don't know, I can't even pan far enough to show you the entire area. It runs from the Herbert Jones Tunnel in Wanawaga Ridge, and it spans all the length of the siding here in JP. So again, sorry if this is very shaky. I'll take you all the way up to the other end there. So I'm done with the scenery all the way up to the road crossing here. So this is quite a nice stretch. It never looks big on on camera, but if you're standing in front of it, that's quite a few feet of finished layout there. And I'm very happy with the result. I'm very proud of it. It's like I said in my other episode, I'm sort of starting at new learning scenery, so I have a lot to learn still. But with all the new products, I mean, it's incredible what you can do. I mean, if I can do this, anyone can do this, because like I said, I'm learning. I'm going baby steps in this, you know, just taking materials and trying stuff and learning as I go. So, you know, if this can inspire anyone to go ahead and give it a shot, do it. I mean, it's a lot easier than it looks. And if you're not sure, I mean, my email is listed. You can always reach me. I'll be more than happy to help you if I can. This is all very easy to do, and it's so much fun. It's so rewarding. I'll show you the base products that I'm using for my scenery. So there you go. Doesn't get any simpler than this. It's 2 colors of dirt that I picked on the side of the road here on my way home. So I just stopped by the side of the road, and I had a couple of buckets with me, so I just grabbed some dirt and I sift that dirt into different grades, and then I picked some tree moss, which I ran through the blender and created this ground cover right here. I also gathered some dead leaves that I put in a bag, and I crunch it all up, then I put it in the blender, and that gave me dead leaves. And if you leave it long enough in the blender, you get this sort of powdery stuff there that looks like, it looks like ground foam, or it looks like dirt. So all different textures, all different colors that I use, all natural products, all free. I used also some dried up weeds that were roadside, and ran them through the blender and made these little shavings here, which looks like, I don't know, maybe little pieces of not bark, but you know, when you're cutting up trees, you get splinters and stuff. So I don't know, I put that on the ground where the Smith logging is, and it looks like little pieces of wood. So anything goes. Very simple. And the only product that I use that's a purchase product is the static grass. My usual static grass. They're Woodland Scenics, 12 millimeters, 7 millimeters, light green. And it looks like heck when I put it on, but then I take the airbrush and I paint it, just like I did with this scene here from last year, if you can remember. So yeah, very, very fun to do, scenery. Okay, and one last project that I wanted to share with you. I'm planning my my car ferry. Sorry if there's a bunch of cars and stuff here. I that's why I'm not going for a complete tour of the layout right now, because I had some water damage in the house. A pipe that leaked, and it leaked over the yard in Chataway Falls, so I had to remove all the suspended ceiling, remove all the cars, everything that was in the yard, clean everything up. So that's why everything is all jammed up here. But what I'm doing here is I added a third track here to my to the slipway, because I figured I had enough space to make a barge that would be 3 tracks wide, 5 cars long, so it would fit 15 cars if it was full. Of course, I'm never going to fill it, because I don't want 15 car long trains. I want to run shorter trains, but the space will be available there for it. So I added a siding, added a switch here. So this is all new. And I added the track that's in the back here. I'm not even finished with the laying of the rails. So that's another project that I'm working on. That should I should complete next year, hopefully. So we'll know how that went with the next report. Okay, so there you have it. I hope that was short enough. Let me know in the comments below. I try to read the comments and reply whenever I can. I hope you understand I can't always reply in a timely manner, because I have so much to do. So yeah, this is what I have done in the past 6 months. I know it doesn't look like much, but there's quite a lot of work in there, and this is what it looks like when you're working full-time and trying to build a layout and consolidate other things in life. So I hope you enjoy, and like I said, I have a few more videos that I'm working on right now that I'm hoping will be ready in the coming weeks. So watch for future episodes. Like I usually do. Usually I have 1 or 2 episodes, one behind the other, and then I'm quiet for a year. So you won't hear from me from another year at least. So I guess I'll see you guys trackside. You take care now. Let's go run some trains. And it looks like we're in luck, as we're just catching up with the southbound local from Taganish to Chataway Falls. And I think that train needs to set out a couple of cars at Smith Logging today. Today's crew is made up of locomotive engineer George, conductor Peter, and brakeman Al. The three-man crew on the switching locals is pretty much standard here on the Canadian National Sanmore Subdivision. After the train was in the clear, the brakeman made the cut for the two cars, and under the instructions of conductor Peter, the train will now move to the other side of the controlled location so that they can back up onto the siding and into the spur. Moving from the siding and onto the main line is done on a permissive signal aspect, which in this case was a slow to clear indication. Now, once the train has moved on to the main line, the conductor will then request a authority by Rule 566, which will allow the train to change directions several times if they need to, and the signal aspects on the controlled location at South GP will be suspended. This will allow the crew to move back and forth as many times as they need to do their switching. Conductor Peter is lined up to switch in reverse position, and the train is now slowly moving into the spur. Okay, George, half a car to a stop for the derail. Okay, George, the derail is on the ground. You are clear for the spot. Crossing is clear, George. Two more cars now. Two. Okay, 4214, George, one more car. Half. Give me another 20 feet. 10. And you're okay to stop anytime. And with the cut being made, cars being secured, crews on board, so the locomotive will now back out of the spurt. They will reset the derailleur in derailment position and line up the switch and lock the switch in normal position once they're done. (4214) is now returning back into the siding to pick up the rest of their train to be on their way. (4214), one more car for the hitch, George. Half a car. 20 feet, 15, 10, 5, easy now. Whoa, you okay, Pete? With row 566 now cancelled, the crew is ready to be back on their way to head south to Chataway Falls to end their shift. They are now proceeding on signal indication, heading towards Douglas Cove for one more switch move that they need to do, and then finally Chataway Falls. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode and this very short segment on operations. I'm hoping eventually to have be able to dedicate an entire episode to operations. But until then, I guess I'll see you guys trackside. You take care now.